we close this shit? I don't want you here. Thank you. Alright. We're only 7 minutes late today. I'm gonna call that on time, I'll be honest. Grath, what is up, goat? How's it going? Cuber, what's up? What's up, Troper? Alright, so we're going to do something very important. Everybody gets to a sneak peek at the next long form video I'm doing. Cuber Draco, thank you for the 8 months in a row at tier 1, my goat. Welcome back to the dog home. Boom, indeed. Ken Nerd, thank you for the 2 months in a row at tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home. What's up, Darebrained? Yeah, Grath, I had the mic far away from my face. So the thing is, my girlfriend and I, in a very cute way, we have our computer setups right next to each other, and we both stream and we both record stuff, so we have to have the thresholds on our mic tuned way the fuck up, and we have to have the drop off really heavy so that we're not just hot micing each other all the time. Ken Nerd, it is daddy indeed. So let's talk about the rules. There we go. Okay. He'll go over here. Okay. So here's some of the basic rules, just because I always say the rules like 18 times over the course of a stream. And so instead I'm just going to have the rules typed out, and this way we can return to it. And this way we can return to, oh my god, yeah, I'm making the FAQ. We're making the FAQ live on stream. The rat is cute. That's actually one of the rules. Is that the rat is cute. Iron Brew, thank you for coming by to the stream. We will expand upon Rule C later. Gingy, what's up? Welcome to the Goon Sesh. Hello, Corn Mazed. Alright, so now we have the Gooning Reclamation Committee typed up. I'll put a Henzy thing in later. So here are the rules. Jules, we're roping it back in. Don't worry about it. Kaza, I'm writing about the Gooning Reclamation Committee, which you're now part of because you saw it. The Gooning Reclamation Committee is the Mauled brand info hazard. If you see it, you are now a part of the team. You are now... How is it MTG related, Jude Stuman? I'm glad you asked, because gooning is not, as it is currently defined on the internet, a sexual behavior. Gooning is acting in any behavior that is consistent with the alignment of or pursuant to the goals of Henzy Toolbox Tori, the devil rogue creature from New Capenna. That's how this is MTG related. This is the one true gooner. He was sacrificed and he was resurrected, and he will save all of us. And he was not sacrificed to cleanse our sins. He was sacrificed to teach us how much more we could be sinning. Jowsy, thank you for the 100 bits. Take my biddies, good sir. I appreciate you. He did throw a building at Atraxa, and that was very real of him. Rocket, there are no specific format requirements. I mostly do commander decks because that's like what I have the I guess image or figurehead of being able to talk my shit about, which we're gonna expand to the other formats too. Okay, so we got a lot of decks on the table today, so we are going to delay not at all and get straight into it. And I'm going to, one sec everybody, we're going to post the order in just a second and then start, because I know that the people that are going first are here. Troper, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. You have the wrong "it's" in your FAQ, and if I don't throw money at you, you won't notice it. Thank you, Goat. Oh, yeah. Committed to... Sorry. There we go. We've fixed it. So for anybody that hasn't been to one of these before, the power rating we accept is not 1 through 10. That shit is bad and wrong. The power rating we accept is silly to spooky to scary. That is just how scary your deck's turns are. You're welcome, Aiko. Alright, the first deck we have for today. Did I post the order? I did. Alright, so first up we've got our boy Grath. Well, our person Grath. Scary deck. Deck has tags. People have to tell me that in the primer now, because I will get halfway through decks without realizing. Game plan is to have several dwarves to cast in a combo piece, Clock of Omens, and anything that turns Magda into an artifact. Tap Magda and an artifact to untap Magda and create an untapped treasure. Then repeat tapping Magda and a treasure until you win. Once you have the Clock of Omens combo online, the first artifact you get is Academy Manufacturer to break parity. Then you have infinite mana and card draw and win any way you want to. Plan A is Cloudstone Curio. Scourge of Vulcus and Terror of the Peaks use infinite mana to get infinite dragon ETBs until you bust all over everyone. Plan B is Aggravated Assault, using your infinite clues, and then use infinite mana to take infinite combats with Goldspan as a hasty dragon. Plan Sometimes It Happens is a Karn the Great Creator and Mycosynth Lattice lock. Once I did that on turn 4, plan if I go infinite they won't invite me back, is to get Blightsteel and or Utvara Hellkite and start murdering people. So this is CEDH or right up on it. And it's listed as scary. So that is consistent at least. That's horrifying. Short crimes and misdemeanors. Alright, so we want castable dwarves. We want castable dwarves. We want things to tap them to start making treasures. $500. I think the reason it's cheap for a near CDH deck, Ilaran, is because it's not using a ton of the really expensive fast mana because it doesn't need to because Magda's so cheap. Jesus, that is a thick, over a quarter of the deck costs 2 mana. That is responsible. This person pays their taxes with ill-gotten gains. Destruction of property. I would say this deck is like weirdly, not even weirdly, this is a unhinged amount of dwarves for a deck that wants to do something so despicable. For a deck where everything in the primer is, I'm going to Clock of Omens combo until Terror of the Peaks ruins your life. 34 dwarves is a lot. I know that you need to have some in your opening hand. And we have the casual dockside, always. Gadrak is interesting. Like, this is for a deck that has no desire to win with dwarves on the ground. This is a real Deep Rock Galactic looking ass deck. Dr. Swoos, this is how. Welcome to the rules. Here's the rat. It's a Patreon thing. Chris Gia, you're going to an MH3 event today. Good luck. Oh, and your work is paying for it. Hell yes. Oh, wait. Do you want... Yeah, I mean, the deck in one word is dwarves. Here's the thing, though. No, it's not. Not if... how you describe the deck in one word is totally unrelated to the eventualities that are going to kill you. This is dwarves under capitalism. It is certainly Deep Rock Galactic. A Hobo 8 Gym, yes, we'll move you last unless that's problematic. Cuz a lot of these dwarves suck. And I feel like what you need more than a million dwarves is... What you need more than a million dwarves is... You need, like, one good dwarf. You need one good dwarf, and you need a lot of ways to make sure that dwarf taps. And so let me playtest it. Fucking Christ, this is evil. Oh, this is evil. Oh, I hate it here. So we get Magda. Well, let's actually leave this in hand and get this. And then I think we can cast both of these. So, I mean, off rip, I think we sack Inventor's Fair and we go get Academy Manufacturer. Because that was the stated most important thing. Turn 4, play Magda, and then we fucking throw this guy away. That's not a dwarf. That is a clue, a food, and a treasure in a vertically challenged trench coat. Oh, we can clown car for 0. Okay, so we'll clown car for 0, and then instead of having the berserker die, we'll tap it into that, and we'll tap Magda too. So we need to sack 5 treasures, so we're still a ways away. But turn 6 or turn 5, we probably like lay down dockside, and then this explodes, and then something, and then you know anything happens. Okay. This looks more like the weirdly fair game plan I was thinking this deck would have. So we get a counter. So I want us to closely examine the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde behavior that's going on in this deck right now, because the previous playtest by turn 5, we had a Academy Manufacturer, Dockside. We had more tokens than all of Hollywood, and we were about to win the game. And here we have 4 shitty dwarves that probably can't swing. And our best hope is going to be to pray that they allow us to equip Helm of the Host, which is probably a non-starter. Now we have a tap enabler. But honestly, the tap enabler is not as important. The tap enabler is much more important than the dwarves. Oh, John, yeah, we weren't able to... Our schedules got fucked up, and so... No, we are not able to go. There's... I'll text you about it. And so the problem that this deck has given itself, when it's on its hot girl shit, it is very scary. The problem it has given itself is that it has a shitload of dwarves, and then every good thing it wants to do is way better than dwarves. The good things it wants to do are Clock of Omens loops. The good things it wants to do is Academy Manufacturer. It's Cloudstone Curio stuff. And so if that's what you want to do, then you got to cut these dwarves, and we got to get some goddamn card advantage up into this goddamn house. And we're gonna trot out. I'm just gonna trot these out. So we're going to trot out. Here are the big 3. Anytime you show me a red deck. So the thing is that the point was to find a way to make dwarves actually good. My argument would be you've not made dwarves good, you've made Magda good. Everything about the deck that is good because you have Magda, a tap outlet, and something to break token parity. And the dwarves do basically 0 lifting in the meat of the deck. You could run this deck dwarfless and lose almost no efficacy because the dwarves aren't what's making you the money. What's making you the money is being able to get to Clock of Omens. It's being able to Dockside Extortionist. Notable non-dwarf. And so I would say if you want to make dwarves good, the dwarves help you get going though. Right, they can, but I'm saying they're very in the scale of what really matters for this deck. If you had to choose between seeing Clock of Omens, a tap enabler, or any number of dwarves in your hand, you would always choose Tap Enabler, Clock of Omens. Like, you're never going to choose a dwarf because you have a dwarf in the command zone. And so I, like, not to be too much of a Pepperidge Farm old man, but I would argue that if you want to have a deck that cares about making dwarves good, you probably want to try to do a non-combo version of Magda, and you want to look for stuff that is, I would say probably more cars, right? Rather than I'm going to do a Clock of Omens loop, get funnier cars, get Coat of Arms to get really Deep Rock Galactic up in this bitch. Get Shared Animosity. And then Magda becomes the cherry on top that can get you either like one big dragon or can get you a big artifact like Coat of Arms. Or I think Throne of Eldraine. And like you have all of these two drop dwarves. So it works really cleanly. What works really cleanly for you is Door of Destinies. Because you have basically all of your dwarves are castable really early. And so if you could get any type of card draw going, or even just like draw one dwarf a turn, cast one dwarf a turn, you're in a much better place with Door of Destinies than a lot of other decks. John, I may not be able to call because Z and I are doing errands all day, but please text me. Fly safe. Love you, boo. And then I would have more getaway vehicles, and that's really just to say Baton of Morale. Zandumba, I swear to God, you suggest Baton of Morale one more time, I will find you. You knock that shit off right now. Yeah, like this. So this game, we have a bunch of dwarves. And we don't really like that we're seeing a bunch of dwarves because they're very, very weak. And we don't have any anthems to make them fight good. The only thing we're using them for is we want them to tap so that we can combo with Magda. And if we cared more about having the dwarves actually fight, I would be more with you on we're making dwarves good. But what's happening instead is we're tapping Magda to make treasures. And that's the shit that matters. Now we have Nykthos. God, our mana's so unfixed, but we can tap Magda at least. And we'll make another treasure. And like that interaction right there is all that matters, and it's not dependent on having a single dwarf in our hand. So if you tell me we're making dwarves great again, I want to see a deck where your primary gimmick pieces care about, did I play a low to the ground dwarf? And most of them don't. So I would just say it's not a dwarf deck. It's a Magda deck that happens to be really overly heavy on dwarves, but not for a reason. But there's no intent to it other than I wanted to say the deck has a lot of dwarves. Like this is, ooh, it's a fetishist deck. That's what's happening. And then we have Blightsteel as well. And I think Blightsteel could be in like a dwarf focused deck, and you could just frame it as like, this is what the dwarves are building. My dwarves are building a weapon of mass destruction. If you don't kill me, they're gonna get you. Oh, and then we also have we also have a Karn lock. The classic dwarven strategy of establishing Skynet and a fascist utopia under a bald man. My bad, goat. I didn't recognize your game. So my advice would be to pick a lane harder than you have. I think you're like half and half in this is combo Magda, it is effective, I'm gonna get you, and you're half in I got a shitload of dwarves. But the only piece of your deck that cares about having a shitload of dwarves is Magda herself, which makes it good enough to work, but does not make it a coherent gimmick. We're going to move on to Cuber Draco's deck, which is spooky. I think the deck is in a good place. It's not the strongest, but what it is flexible. The main strategies I fall back on are make tokens, buff up people, ping people to death. I don't want it to be insanely powerful. Want to have fun and play dumbass shit. First person in a long time who has exclusively said, we want no additions or removals. This deck is perfect. I cannot fail at liking something. Therefore, fuck off. Feast or famine? What word would I use to describe this deck? Persistence and flexibility. How should we win? Pinging, 3 million tokens, hitting somebody with a body. Yeah, Rocco's a very good toolbox commander. Card draw 4? Yeah, Feast or Famine indeed. I think the first three you have picked very good examples of highly specific card draw. And even the fourth, Kutzil, is a very good pick. It's just conditional. Oh, you're currently last, and you want to swap spots with a Hobo 8 Gym. Okay. Then you're going to be fourth, Lelo. Tricat Drug, it is a Patreon redeem, which is we're done with for the month of June, but we'll be open again in July, and you can sign up for the Patreon anyway. Okay, so we have dorks, counter-specific dorks, and a food-specific dork. Okay, I see you. Sack an artifact. That's... Ooh. I don't think I've ever seen this in a Rocco deck before, and that is really good. Gimme your shit. This is just Ocean's 11, but they disguise themselves as the caterers. Group Hug is great. Exile-based Group Hug is great. Guess who discovered a month ago this was an infinite combo? Yeah, I mean, God, it's like, sometimes it's no fun to have infinites, and also both of these are such good synergy pieces in their own right. Yodian Dissident is very hot. Is this impulsive ramp? I mean, kind of. Let's get some value. No. 4 no's. The four most efficient Naya no's ever to grace the world. Okay, and what's the pew? Is our foods become 1 damage. Artifacts become a damage. Shalayan Halar becomes damage. Yeah, Passionate Archaeologist is pretty hot. Call me X Games because we got the ramp. Bars. Bars. I'm gonna retire. I'll pass the torch on to you. That's lines right there. Too many cooks in the kitchen. God, I hate the short. God, do I hate the short. When all else fails, just do green things. Let's get impulsive. Oh, so this is, I mean, I would count this as, I realize you did it for tagging purposes. Definitely, I think, counts as draw. Primal Vigor. Brave, but you are definitely cheating harder than everyone else. Toss this shit out just to be funny and see how many I can make. Destroy all artifacts. Oh, God, yeah. All right, let's see how the playtest goes. So we'll have that enter tapped. Then we get Clifftop Retreat. We can get Pianalar out. I mean, shit. Okay, we got Rampage of the Clans. I'm going to cast this junk just because our exile synergies are already going so well. I'm going to assume turn 2. I'm going to assume turn 2, we picked up 1 soul ring. We'll get a counter. We'll get a food. And we'll get a Thopter. Oh, sorry. Ren's Resolve, we get exiled. And we draw. So, Thopter, food, counter, exile 2, play this, play statuary, food, Thopter, counter. Okay, I hate you. I hate you a little bit. And then we're just color screwed on Escape from the Wilds, but we have 6 colorless mana available. So we tap our non-artifact spells. That's too bad. Okay. So we can't do the 4 mana artifact in our hand. But we go to our next turn. And we get Liara Porter, and then we can play Jesus, this is holy fuck. Okay, this hand's a little bit rougher. Oh boy. All right, turn 8, we got there. This one looks like it's starting okay. I'm just gonna rip this immediately, just because I don't trust. Oh wait, no. So we'll play this, get this. And then it's fucking food Thopter zone again. So we'd probably play Yodian Dissident and then play this. And then we'd get 3 +1/+1s. God damn. I will say this is a very, very good... This is a very, very good synergy pile. The worst thing I can say about it is it synergizes with everything except deterministically winning the game. This looks like a... This is like the idle tower defense deck. It knows exactly what path it needs to take to constantly draw more cards, constantly put counters on, constantly put tokens out. In Naya, that probably wins you the game somehow at some point, but the win con of this deck is definitely one of these. One of these will do something, because you have a lot of things that are doing light to medium lifting, and I don't see anything that's doing really heavy lifting, and that is okay. Not every deck needs to, especially depending on the power level you've stated, not every deck needs to be like, you're dead now. This is certainly play some dumbass shit, get to take a ton of game actions. I mean, my god, the number of egg rolls you are spitting out from this creature. You know, and you can't fail at things you like. So I can't tell you that you have to cut anything. This does seem like a deck that could definitely get into a kind of stone wall, and then Girapur and Hedron Detonator is your only way out. And so I think it's a good idea that you have a lot in the Pew category. But yeah, I mean, as far as Gordon Ramsay Breaking Bad goes, this is pretty good. You're you're a little thick. You're a little thick up at the 5 mana range, but most things are 2 to 3. And most of the like prime movers are 2 to 3 as well, which is okay. A lot of the, like, all of the really expensive shit is the kind of the goofier stuff. Like Liara, Bone Horde, Urabrask, all of that is definitely win more. And I will allow you to cook with some win more. God, we have Throne of Geth in the opening hand. So 2, and then that. So Cinderglade. Oh wait, do we have anything? No, we don't have anything that we need to be ordering that about. I mean, honestly, Okaneka How, swing this bitch. Or sorry, sack the food, proliferate, swing the bitch, get 2 more counters on. So we have a 6/8 commander turn 4. Pia would have gone to exile. We get another food. Then we probably Plarg and Nasari. Proliferate again. 14 damage commander, turn 5. That goes to exile. Yeah, I believe it. I mean, you deserve to be targeted. This is like, if there was anything that supported the mistreatment of the service industry, it is this Rocco deck. This is why people are shitty to the food service industry. Is because of this little elvish dipshit. But I think you've got a good picture here, and I think you understand what you're lacking, and it's not even something you're lacking, it's just not where your intention is at. I think this is a good execution of your intention at all times. I do think you fail the Faithless Looting test and the Thrill of Possibility test and the big... I don't think you can sufficiently explain to me why you don't have every copy of the Ren's Resolve effect. But I don't think you like need to because the deck functions. Rocco is gonna get you cards. You have 4 direct card draw, and you have 6 things that will help you get through your deck faster, which is what card draw is about. Yeah, Uba Mask can't come in here. Uba Mask is, I would say, too strong. I think Champion of Lambolt would be good to bring in from the sideboard to stand on business a little harder when it comes to combat damage. One of the other people I play uses Champion. Yeah, because Breya's Apprentice would also be okay. Oh yeah, sorry. You are missing the best card in your deck. You just don't know about it yet. Dance with Calamity. You have a responsible curve. You want to play things from exile. Why are you not getting a little bit swifty? Why are you not dropping it down low and shitting on the floor? You can gamble. Haven't found one. But yeah, because this card is like 50 cents. We are going to. The red one is just the most obvious. The red, it's because the red players are far and away, and not even the mono red players. It is players with access to red forget that these 4 spells exist, and it is difficult to find a reason to not play any of these 4 spells. Dance with Calamity because it's funny. Thrill of Possibility and Faithless Looting, as far as just making sure that you can cycle cards, and even like Ren's Resolve, is good if your curve can do it. Carl, Demand Answers is basically just Thrill of Possibility. I've been thinking of cutting Wild Magic Caster and Nalfeshni. No, I think that gives you like the flavor. Like, I think those are the things where they're not the most efficient, but are fun. And I think you need that sauce. So I would keep those. I really don't think you need to bring in too much external stuff. I would say Champion of Lambolt is definitely would be a very strong pick to make it so that your combat damage game plan got to go through. This feels like a deck that says it wants to beat ass and then never really gets a chance to, and then you have to stand behind the pillow fort and just let your artifacts ping everybody down, and Lambholt would let you be a lot more active. Or, you know, you can always get cut from the group chat. That would also be fine. We're going to move on to Damn Cuff. Spooky deck. Flying creatures go burr. I made this deck because Lightning Angel is one of my favorite command cards of all time, and I wanted somewhere to put it. Kazla is the commander solely because she's a bigger Lightning Angel. I ignored the Convoke synergies. The deck in one word is burb. Jeskai, so fly. I mean, Castle is bad as fuck. Okay, so we're relatively budget, 38 lands, and a fucking bounce land. I realize this is probably just not cut from a precon. You gotta cut this shit yesterday. We stop returning lands to your hand if you don't have a meaningful amount of MDFCs. Alright, so we have Thighs with Wings. Put creatures on field, turn left. Okay, a little bit of cowardice with the life gain. What is this? Okay, hold on. Oh, mama. Oh, boy. That is not a curve, that is a wall. The guys. This is not a deck. This is a collection of art prints that they thought looked dope as fuck, and they tried to make it a deck. Goblin, let me put it to you this way. I think life gain is underrated from a standpoint of winning and overrated from a standpoint of having a good time. Entario, thank you for the Twitch. Well, Entario, Tibro Flaro, the first lonely one, and Mutu D2, thank you for the Twitch follows. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Oh, and we have fucking Crom. Big beaters. Gravitational shift. Oh, that's hot. It's overcosted as fuck, but that's hot. Ramp, I'm not in green. I don't know what you want from me. We picked the worst ramp possible, too. We picked the signets, which are basically the same as bounce lands. I never recommend hard committing yourself to pips, and so the signets are universally worse than the talismans for that reason. Support creatures. Yeah, landfall shitbirds is... it's pretty good. Hey, it's pretty fucking good. A 2/1 flyer. We are playing some fair magic. Okay. Flyers have ward. Flying cost reducers. Counter spells. Yeah, you probably need it. Rabbit Jaguar, you submitted through Patreon. We're out of roast slots for this month, but they will be open again in July. Card draw proceeds to show a bunch of Gucci bags that have a few Magic the Gathering cards stuffed into them. Okay, so the deck is dope shit that flies. Got it. Wow, I really hope this lack of card draw doesn't come back to haunt me in any type of way. I really hope that the fact that the only card draw I put in was overcosted and conditional doesn't force me to play a 2/1 on turn 4. Gosh, I really hope that this effect isn't meaningless because I would have to discard to hand size if I used it because I have to refill my hand with my goddamn bounce lands. No, you never play MDSCs as a land. Oh yeah, so I did fuck that up. So we could have, let's see, we could have kept that as an island and then bounced it. So that would have worked. All right, so we'll put this back, that back. Let's say we're on turn 4 instead. Okay. So turn 5, we can play this. I guess we Ojitai. We get that bitch. Then another goddamn there's no reason. We get the tapped one out of the way first. We can Thieving Skydiver, but it doesn't help us at all. We will draw 2 and dump the basic. So we'll Skycat and then let's lead with the ward creature. So that and then what do we do from here? We have land, so we get a bird. This gets +4/+4, and we can make a cat bird. And then, you know, like if anybody ever interacts with us, I think we curl up into a little ball and we die. What's the deck's stated power level? I mean, this is certainly a silly deck rather than a spooky deck, but not a lot of people are used to the power scaling yet, so I can forgive that. I overwhelmingly high on lands, low on card draw, really high on copium. I love that there are still tables in the world that this deck can work at. If I brought this to any of my tables, I would get punked forthwith. It's kind of budget, but you can build a budget deck and still get a fair amount of draw. Like the thing that is hurting it is that its commander is not valuable other than for the aesthetic. And you can have a deck that is just about aesthetic. If the deck is just about Lightning Angel, you could certainly do aggro flyers. You could certainly do aggro flying in a way that was more conducive to getting to play Magic better than this. Fucking hell. Because we said, like, we made the point of, okay, we have Lightning Angel, so Kazla is just here because Lightning Angel, and otherwise she doesn't matter. And then everything else in the deck doesn't matter except for has wings, looks cool. So where's... I know there's some good birds we can get up in here. Oh yeah, like Kangi would be better than half of your 5 mana stuff. Giving all of your flying creatures, like you need, if you're gonna do, we're gonna fight on the board and we're gonna fight with flying creatures. I would say you need more things that are gonna make them actually hit hard. Right now we have a lot of things that just happen to fly, and if they get to stick around for 30 turns, you will win a game of Commander. But not only, and not even in a like spiky way of, oh, you should be trying to win faster. It's like the thing that makes Commander fun is often the tension of multiple people trying to win and trying to win faster than each other. And if your method of trying to win is to just kind of gently trudge towards the finish line, you're not creating a lot of friction. And the friction is what makes it fun. And so we have a couple, like we have a couple Convoke things. We have a couple... I mean, Metamai the Ageless is crazy. Metamai is crazy in here. Errant and Giada in the 99. I feel like I saw them. I mean, this thing is okay as hell. The thing's okay as hell. But for the blue players... That's the first rule of a blue deck, is how well do, like, does your average card hold up against Consider? And I think this deck fails the Consider test. Half the things we might see in this deck, we would rather draw Consider. If we even want to be more respectful of the deck's specific gimmick, which is put shit down and turn it left, Why are we not charting courses? Like, we need to... Dino, the deck roasting is a monthly Patreon sign-up, which is closed for this month. And so there'll be a message in early July about how to submit through Google form. Consider's better than opt. And chart a course is better than either. If you are swinging. You also have, like, again, this is heading to the Gucci store with your parents' credit card type of curve, and you don't have the ramp to pay for it. You have the lands to maybe pay for it if you had the card draw necessary to make sure you hit your land drops. Ico, charting a course is map related, therefore it works. It doesn't need to make a map token to be akin to maps. But yeah, in the world of I want my deck to be flying guys that hit hard, that is so broad. Do not play Dovescape. Do not, under no circumstances, should you enter the Dovescape on them. But this is a behold my stuff deck. This is a here are all the things in the world that I think look very cool, and that is beyond reproach. If you think something looks cool, there's no way for me to tell you that it doesn't look cool. In terms of making the deck better, you cannot pay for this shit. You are overdrafting your bank accounts, you are running up credit cards, and you're doing it for burnt pizza. You're not even running up your credit. If you were running up your credit cards just for stuff like Aurelia the War Leader, fine. You cannot be taking on credit card debt for a 5-mana 4/3. You're already doing a 4-mana 3/4. We can't be acting like this. And so there's a million directions you could go where Lightning Angel the deck still works. You could have it be like Secret Commander Feather. You could have it be all angels, which we don't have right now. You could have it be all flying, which you can just look through the Jeskai flying section. Bident of Thassa would be good for a turn things left. Wind Reader Sphinx would be better than most of your current 7-mana options. So right now there's too many directions we could go to make it better. I will agree with you. I think this shit looks pretty cool too. Except for this guy. I don't like him. But the rest of it, damn. These are some raw arts. And that is currently what the deck is here's my, this is like a 70s van that you got high and painted with your friends. We're moving on to Lelo's deck, which is spooky Sultai land graveyard deck with Muldrotha. I try to keep it as focused on land and graveyard synergies as possible. It's many things you hate, but I look forward to getting help nonetheless. So first, let's help this deck. So this is not specific enough. Free online counseling. I am the problem. So to fix this deck, you're going to want to go to buddyhelp.org, Lelo. Don't forget about tags. The deck looks to fill its graveyard, pull things for value, primarily lands. Lots of ways to get lands out of the grave and extra land drops, to always have landfall mana. The majority of the cards in the deck are permanents, because it synergizes with Muldrotha and is a fun limitation. All lands are non-basic, also because I thought it was fun and it shut off easy ramp options. Definitely room for improvement. So I would say when you're giving yourself a limitation, don't give yourself a soft limitation. If you want to take something, Muldrotha, extremely powerful commander. Being able to freely use your graveyard when people are not responsible with their graveyard hate is a very strong effect. And so when you give yourself a limitation or a gimmick that you have to operate within, you do not want to give yourself a soft one that is open to interpretation. You want to give yourself a hard one. I'm not saying that you need that specific limitation for Muldrotha, but I would say if you want to do a permanent focused Muldrotha deck, I would commit yourself to everything as a permanent, or I have 5 non-permanents and that's it. Graveyard Hate takes a chainsaw to my knees immediately, but I don't know if there's a way around that, and I tried to avoid rad counters because I also built Mothman and did not want gimmick infringement. All lands are non-basic because I thought it was fun and it shut off easy ramp options. I like that. See, and that's a hard limitation, right? Every land is non-basic. I used mostly non-basics, but then I had a couple basics just in case. Very, very creature heavy. Lots of lands. Makes sense for a landfall deck. Crop rotation, growth spiral. Oh, right. Tags matter. 14 things. So we're gonna use the priority check of what are we dedicating things in the deck to? What are my deck's true priorities versus what I stated? So we said fill its own graveyard, pull things back for value, mostly lands. So we have 17 here. Our first priority is to get extra lands. Our second priority is to mill ourselves. And then we have a ton of competing priorities, which I'm assuming are things that are tagged with multiple things for landfall, land payoff, land fixing. I think there's also a lot of there's a lot of things that could fit in multiple buckets. Troper, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. How does it feel knowing that you've taken Sanderson's rules for writing magic systems and applied them to commander decks? Your brain rot really is that bad. I don't know Sanderson's rules for writing magic systems. What do you mean? I know I've seen Sanderson's writing advice, but if I am plagiarizing, I am doing it unknowingly. We'll do it after we look at this one. So we have a ton of ways to get lands to grave. What are our payoffs? We get our lands back. We mill. Oppression's crazy. That is fucking hateful. I mean, it works with your deck, but that is hateful. Yeah, Slowgurk makes sense. Return all lands from graveyard. I get an 8/8 for cheap. The Titania is good. The Meld is good. Uro's fine. Alright, so we're definitely we are certainly filling our graveyard. Hedron Crab is crazy. Is this... You picked singularly hateful Hedron crab. Oh, can hit self. Okay. Target player lose. Obnixilis is good. What's the curve like? Curve's pretty expensive, but we have 39 lands and we have a ton of ramp. My worry is that this is a touch yourself deck. I have yet to see anything other than maybe Titania that is a compelling case for what the Moldussi is going to do to win us this game. So we'll play that. Prismatic Omen. Okay, Tiller Engine, which is very okay. Drunken Acid, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. So now we're kind of dead in hand. Or we're just waiting. And we want Elvish Reclaimer on top, so we'll put him out. And this would allow us to start filling our graveyard, but filling the grave is not feeling all that nice. So if we were playing real hot and heavy, we would have had Tiller Engine down. We can play AC. And now Otawara, well, Panharmonicon first, Otawara, draw two more. Probably Gitrog. But it's turn 9. Our graveyard's empty. The best thing we have is AC. And then we get Gitrog. Oh, whoops. Now we got Hedron Crab. So now we're cooking. Can mill ourselves a little bit. And then we fucking Tarmogoyf and we wait. And we wait. Oh wait, we have Takanuma. My bad. Art made me think it was a creature. Okay, we mill 3 lands and then we get probably Undergrowth out. Then we Crucible. So Crucible is going to save us here because we mill 3. Get a counter on here. And now nothing matters because we have Crucible of Worlds and we can keep filling the graveyard. Oh, and we have Dakmor Salvage as well. So we can use Dakmor Salvage if we need to. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have no way to pull back from grave. This is, I'm gonna try to be kind to you, and that is fully unplayable. So we'll Lotus Cobra. Boom. We have an extra one, so I'll probably Prismatic Omen and Satyr Wayfinder. Put a land. Do Thespian Sage. Okay, we have some extra money now. We can slow Gurk, then kind of wait. Thespian Stage, Vorin Klex. So I know we get 2 forests. We're mana fixed at this point. We do that, and then we're kind of waiting again. Well, no, we're not, because we get Muldrotha, and then Okay, so we have a couple really important pieces, and then it feels like we have other pieces that are here because they say they care about lands, but are not terribly effectual at doing anything other than making this churn continue to go. God, I'm trying to think of a way to make this deck better without making it so much worse. Because my first thought was, you know what this deck would want to play more than Tarmogoyf? Literally every single opportunity it could. Grist. Every single time you drew Tarmogoyf, you would be happier to draw Grist. And Tarmogoyf, it feels like, is the... And there are other things that are like that. I'm trying to ride a line of not getting too nasty because the table isn't too hardcore. I mean, that's a reason to limit your top end rather than... like, this is just more reasons to set up hard rules rather than soft rules. Because if we don't want to get nasty because the table isn't hardcore, we have plenty of shit that gets nasty. Right? We have the flip Vorinclex that can get nasty. We have the 2 Planeswalkers. I just said kind of dislike Planeswalkers, which is why only Ren's in there. I mean, you either, like, my decks don't run Planeswalkers because I don't fuck with them, but I think it's either you like them or you don't. We're a serious table, but we're not consistently nasty. Like, I think the thing is... This deck is serious about everything but doing damage. This deck is very serious about having lands. It's very serious about having landfall benefits. It's very serious about filling the grave. It is very unserious about making people's life total be reduced. And I think that is the worst place you can have a deck be unserious. If you can be unserious anywhere other than unserious in the realm of I'm not going to reduce life totals, because that's what puts you into staring contests. And you have a couple things that are good at being serious about reducing life totals. Titania, Protector of Argoth, very serious about reducing life totals because you're making 5/3s. Nature's, like the 2 Titanias, very serious. Loaming Shaman, deeply unserious. Tarmogoyf, deeply unserious. And the mistake that I see made consistently is when you want to have a deck that isn't too nasty, you end up putting in things that are nasty and then things that suck to try to bring the average to a good point. And that is often, that can feel okay. I know people that have been very happy with decks that have variable performance like that. Most commonly, that leads to decks that just feel weird because nobody knows how to match power, because they either do the scary thing when they get lucky, or they don't do the scary thing. I mean, the thing is, Loaming Shaman's my single piece of deck out protection. I think your deck out protection should be attempting to win the game of Magic the Gathering before you deck out. I don't think you need to play... I don't think you even need a single piece of defense. The defense we need is an existent offense. Like, we need an offense that is real. Like, even something... God, this is, like, overcosted and... Like, these are both overcosted, but Avenger of Zendikar and Zendikar's Royal, both far more serious about reducing life totals than any of the Tarmogoyfs, than a lot of these play as many lands as possible. We have a million pieces of. If you had Avenger of Zendikar and Rampaging Balos, what situations were happening that making like 8/8, like how is making 4/4s not able to translate to damage? Wide boards and lots of board wipes. Okay, so if we're not able to get a boots on the ground win, if we're not really able to get a boots on the ground win, that is even more reason that Tarmogoyf has no goddamn place in this deck. That's why it's often a token explosion near the end that then runs in. Stuff like Scute Swarm. I mean, Scute Swarm is operating on the same... Like, to me, that just sounds like... That just sounds like an issue of... I need to try 5 times before I win with combat damage, not a token explosion things. Because Scute Swarm is not something that is good against board wipes. It's bad against board wipes, and your commander is good against board wipes. But there's a ton of other things that would be better token explosion with Hagra would also be great. This card is very serious about winning games of Magic the Gathering. So I would dump this in. And if the game plan is like token explosion, Felidar Retreat. Oh, that's White Sultai. Yeah. My bad. But still, your version is just Zendikar's Royal. Because it's not going to get hit by a creature board wipe, and if you do any of your scape shift stuff or Splendid Reclamation, you make so many tokens that people need to have a board wipe or they die. I don't know about this one. Let's look at the other landfall effects you might be able to include, and then we're going to have to keep it pushing. This would be very mean. I would say that's probably actually like less serious about winning the game, but that would be mean as hell. This would be mean. This would be mean as hell. Skyclave Shade. No, these are all landfall. Scrib Nibblers is funny. Yeah, the provisioners and the trackers would be fine, but we're trying to think of like... Yeah, so there's not a lot of very good direct landfall effects. But there's a ton of things that you play with the expectation that they're not really gonna get anything done, which is my biggest concern. Like, if having a big creature, unless they're doing damage-based board wipes, if Avenger of Zendikar doesn't work, then Undergrowth Champion doesn't really work either. I also don't know your deck well enough to know what you are doing all this land copying for. Oh, never mind. You got Dark Depths. I just hadn't seen it. My bad, Goat. Yeah, you got Dark Depths. Undergrowth is there because it's lower cost, so it's early in the game. You need early cost things, but generally you want early cost things that accomplish meaningful stuff for your game plan. I don't think that Undergrowth Champion, if you're going into heavy board wipes, I don't think it is doing meaningful things to accomplish your game plan. I also truly don't think Tiller Engine is either. Goblin has the right picture. Like, Stitcher's Supplier does a lot more as an early thing to get something done. And honestly, what am I thinking of? Most of these cards fail the Frantic Search test. As a deck that wants to have stuff in its graveyard, I would say most of your things are meant to be a redundant version of a different effect. And if you have a ton of redundant versions of your effects, you're probably better off cutting a little bit of the redundancy and running things like Frantic Search that lets you draw and discard, so that you get to load the grave from Muldrotha. It's mana neutral. And you could also, you could do wheels if you wanted, but plenty of things anything that says draw and discard is going to be fine for you. But rather than rather than 18 different versions of the same effect, you can go down to like 10 versions and have card draw. Oh, and also the I think one of the best black cards ever printed, draw 4 cards every turn. Draw 4, discard 2 every turn of the game, because that is a fair magic effect. Zero and a 4, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub and the follow. Welcome to the dog house and the dog home. But yeah, I think you went like, I'm gonna get every version of all the good effects, and that is a good instinct. I think you need more things that are like Hagra, and they're not going to be all specifically landfall. Hold on, there's one other. Dread Presence would be another way to do it. It's not nearly as good, but this is either more draw or it's damage to something. You don't need to run basics for things to be swamped. We just need them to be typed. So you may need to change your land base a bit to have more things like Haunted Mire. But you can do plenty of non-basics. Oh, and yeah, you have an Urborg. Oh, Doppelgang could be funny. I may not have win cons, but I'm sure yours are good enough. Alright, we're going to keep it pushing to Mercenary Hamsters deck, which is silly. Multi-combo artifact-based mill deck. Tries to win with grinding station combo if at all possible. Huh? $700 grinding station mill combo silly deck. This person's favorite clown is John Wayne Gacy. If this is what they think silly is. Okay, ETB recurrent artifact. Alright, no tags. 32 lands. Low, but if you're a combo deck, generally your curve is very low. We have a bunch of fucking tutors. Oh, so we're doing the bitter ordeal loop as well. The Breadman, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the Doghouse. A ton of artifacts. We have tags on. There are no tags other than the 7 combos. You can top that silliness? No, you can't, because it's not silly. This is not silly shit. Time sieve. Oh my god. Tasty Lawn, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the Doghouse. Sword of the Meek is crazy. This is the most your deck is not as cute as you think it is I have seen in my life. Yeah, fuck it. If we're gonna be evil, let's be evil. Let's do Metalcraft. Let's get this out so we have Metalcraft now. One, two, three, four. So we have salvaging station. So we can search for an artifact. I mean, this is like when you leave a child in the wild and they get picked up by wolves, and their idea of what friendly play is like drawing blood and hospitalizing each other. This is fully the result of an arms race that happened in secret with this person's friend group. And why the fuck do we have Flayer Husk in the middle of this shit? Like, we have so much shit that is just crazy to me. I guess we can Dynamo. But we have no... Oh, grinding station, salvaging station, and flare hub. Okay, so it is just 8 million infinites in a trench coat. I mean, first and foremost, not silly. What we are looking at is a bad competitive deck. That's what's been created. Is a competitive deck that loses a lot. Alright, and then we have Limduel's Vault and Sensei's Divining Top, so I'm going to assume that somehow we did it. I don't know what the fuck you did, but I assume that you did it. Fuck you, I love you, read my comment. This is me personally, I would never let you have shit. for the rest of your life if you played this against me, because I would know that I could never trust you with a single goddamn thing, because so much of the deck is wildly unthreatening unless you know what combo is coming, and then the combo comes and the game is just over. And so the thing that makes the most sense is to destroy your lands as soon as you play them. That's the only thing you can be trusted with, is an empty board, a clean slate. Also, Zimmy, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub to Mercenary Hamster. Welcome to Dog Heaven, my friend. Like, this is, yeah, this is, I'm not like other girls. Heh gah, 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 gah. Because our only out is all of the combos. If we don't get our combos, we have nothing. It's crazy to me that people live like this, man. People do crazy shit. I met a dude once. He just ate metal. Can only be trusted with salted earth. Yeah, like these... I've never found combos silly. And so from my own personal perspective, there's not a lot for me to attach onto, because this rather than a commander deck, this is a pile of 99 cards that have a couple different combo lines in it, and the commander happens to comprise all of the colors and be able to recur pieces of those combo loops to the field. And I know there's a commander specific combo because I know that the Bitter Ordeal Gravestorm thing is the Shroom special. Crazy Moose, thank you for the $5 super chat. No one's gonna trust you with a gun if your first instinct is shooting kneecaps. They are very shootable though. People be out here with these shootable knees. This is the Google info dump deck. This is the look at hey guys, check out all these things I learned about on NPR yesterday. And then they hit you with horrors beyond comprehension. Now, playing a commander game, you're playing competitive math class as you resolve all of these different loops. Is this behold my horrors then? I mean, I think this is like, check out this documentary I watched on an atomic bomb. Like, this is when someone starts talking to you about a subject that is a special interest for them and not for you, but you can't walk away. I mean, if you loop time sieve and people don't concede on the spot, that's their fault. Anything that is a true infinite, if people are having you play it out and they're not, for any reason other than they're holding interaction and they're waiting to try to interrupt the combo at the pivotal moment, you know, they are the ones smoking crack, not you. Like, this is, you slapped a car. We're gonna get there together. This is what happened. Because an infinite to me is... yeah, they just don't grab me because they're very, like... They are inevitable, they are inarguable, they are just a thing that exists within the rules of Magic the Gathering. And this deck is simply as many of them as possible, but without fully committing to CEDH, because it isn't committing to all of the fast mana, all of those lands, yada yada yada. So truly, truly disgusting, Hamster. The fact your pod, we need to get your pod into an FBI black site to run tests on them. We're going to move on to enter Blatner's spooky deck. Deck wants to go wide using Rin and Seri by casting spells that count as cats and dogs. It's Changeling Kindred, but I'm not rich, so I'm not running token doublers. And close with stuff like Craterhoof. I also want to put in stuff like Impact Tremors, but I think if I want to abuse ETBs, I should build more around that instead of combat, so I take them out. There is a Changeling Infinite ETB combo with the champion ones, but that combo seems like ass, so I'd rather just kill my opponents with rocks. I haven't played Magic since 2017, and there's a lot of power creep, so a lot of boring generic good cards are new and exciting to me. The deck in one word is respectful. That's a weird looking dog. I'm gonna be responsible since I'm playing in white. See, I don't think you need this many board wipes because you are ideally the person that needs to be board wiped. I made a video about this yesterday, but Commander is more and more becoming, you are either the person that is desperately hoping they draw farewell or desperately hoping that the other person doesn't draw farewell. And you have farewell. You're probably the person that wants them to not draw it. I'm gonna block this whack axe mix up, and we have Tef Pro. Mana Tithe is real though. Sometimes you're behind though. Simply don't be behind. Simply don't give up the pace. Simply stay on your grind, king. Not to it, man. Four is like the median commander deck should be running 4. If you play Blood Moon or Mass Land Destruction, I deserve it. We shouldn't socially disapprove of land destruction so much since it's the only real counter to land ramp and casual commander. IMO like Team H cards like Ruination should be staples and 1 or 2 color decks with red to pun it. We need to give you an award. You're going on the rules slide. So we have a ton of changelings, Spirited Companion, and his friends who are all totally dogs and cats. I love the tag meta. The fuck you want me to do? I'm not playing blue. I like Alms Collector. Jessica's Will was fun, huh? Like, that's definitely turbo good stuff. The first couple times I got to play Jessica's Will, oh, it feels nice. So I'll give it to you, since you haven't gotten to enjoy it a lot. This is definitely some of the silliest card draw I've ever seen. Brother, we are going to the combat step. Honestly, one of the most appropriate finisher packages I have ever seen. At a, like, casual power table. I have 5 cards. I have 5 cards that are going to turn my very wide board into you die. Now what I'm going to recommend... So let's get a little spiteful. Another very good way to turn your wide board into a very threatening board extremely quickly is to have them all be racist together. Yeah, coat of arms if you're feeling very lucky. Okay, let's kill this guy. I like that. Let's see how the playtest feels. Oh, I didn't look at the curve. Let's look at the curve. Very respectful, and then there's the crater hoof bump. Temple is risky, but, you know, it'll probably work out. You have 3 visits, who cares? Sure, I Ganjo, draw a card. Or actually, sorry, we're on 4 there, so rather than drawing a card, we would want to play our commander. So make a dog, make a cat. I think we make cats, yeah, we make the opposite of the thing that we cast. Okay, and now, so we could be doing artifact and enchantment hate. We have a board wipe. I'm gonna cycle this. Got to our card draw, and then we almost certainly need to go to our next turn to, I would say Mind's Eye, because that's what's gonna save us. And from here, we can probably get to something. Like being able to draw 4 cards a turn cycle, I would hope to God we can figure something out. So we have Vandal Blast, Orchard. We're now pretending to be color fixed. Herald's Horn. So we play that, play that. Make our dogs, make our cats. And then... Oh, right. So we get Aura Shards, and then we look. And we do get to put that into our hand. We do Aura Shards, we can get something going. Okay, I'm getting the picture. Nice dockside nerd. That's fucking awesome. So I think the fuck do I want you to do? You're not playing blue. You are playing red, though. Why are you not playing Faithless Looting? Where the fuck is my thrill of possibility? Where the fuck is my big score? You have things you could do. You could play Harmonize if you hate yourself. You could even... Oh, let me tell you, I'm about to put you on. So this is not exactly card draw. But in the world where everything is changeling, and everything gets you a dog and a cat, this is every creature card, or most of my creature cards, give me 2 creatures, and you can just turn these extra dogs and cats into the next changeling. Because the most important thing with a deck like this is that a lot of your cards are bad. because you're trying to do something a little bit silly. And if a lot of your cards are bad, you don't need to have tutors. Like, tutors will help a lot. You don't need tutors because you don't need to make sure that you're always drawing the exact right card. But you need a lot of things to make sure that the wheels keep moving. I think Bolt Bend, Reverberate, I think these are trauma responses, and I think with enough time in therapy, we will move past them. I would cut at least one of these board wipes. Probably Wrath of God, because this one will at least be cheap in a pinch if you really need to wipe everybody. And then I don't know if you need all 20 changelings, but you need a couple things that are your curve's responsible enough that you could even do like Reckless Impulse. Oh, you're reverberating your ramp spells? Sure. Go off, goat. Mana's good. I think it's an inefficient use, but I've certainly done that myself. Oh, your opponent's ramp. Oh, yeah, go off. Theft is good. Sharing is caring. But I would say you need at least a couple instances of either evolutionary leap, anything that will let you touch a couple more cards, because so many of your cards are bad. Gladewalker Ritualist is a 3-mana 3/3 that just happens to make you some tokens. And so like we need to be able to sacrifice this loser to get to Bloodline Pretender. You know, we need to be able to make it a little bit nicer. You could dip into Planeswalkers if you wanted. I would recommend against it. I would also recommend against Guardian Project for the most part, only because it's expensive and most of our ETBs are creatures. Oh god, Great Henge would be foul. Oh, it's not a token. Okay. Yeah, even like Guardian Project and Great Henge are acceptable. I think they're certainly better than like Secret Rendezvous. But that is what I would fix. Is you have a game plan that works when you get the right cards, and if you don't get the right cards, you get sent to a PETA shelter and killed in the nighttime. And to fix that, you need to keep the chains moving. Like with 38 lands, you could even cut like Rampant Growth. That's what I do. I think this is cute. I think it's fairly functional. I think it definitely contributes to the increase worldwide in animal cruelty, but that's between you and God. We're going to keep going. So Tay Tay Slays will put you down 1. So we're going to go to Shant/Dreamer's Spooky Scary deck. Deck tries to draw lots of cards and win with Thassa's Consultation, or make infinite mana with Hullbreaker Horror for Infinite Storm, but I need to find Brain Freeze. So this is a scary deck. Deck in one word is strong. This is full scary. We're not talking about spooky here. We're talking about scary. Sauron. So not in an attempt to be different and make a Sauron deck that wasn't about wheels, I ended up making a Sauron deck that just stuffed in all of the stereotypical Grixis combos. $3,200. Add no... I got you a deck box, bro. I got you a brand new deck box. I'll mail it to you for free. I swear to God. I swear to God, I will mail it to you. Okay. So, here's what the fuck is up with this deck. In the quest to be different, we have made what is effectively a bad Grixis CEDH list. Like if our... Yeah, we're full of tutors, we have wheels, we have Ristic Study, we have Underworld Breach. Like in a quest to make a Sauron deck that wasn't like every other Sauron deck, we made a Sauron deck that is just every other Grixis deck. And they still ran wheels. Oh wow, look at that. Okay. We got the OG duel. Can we do anything? Oh, so we wouldn't have had to discard the hand size. We could have dumped Manifold Key onto the field. What do we even have to... Okay, we can play a Nazgul. Play Mana Vault. And then... We don't have 2 black pips, so we can't play Sheoldred. We can do Lord of the Nazgul. We can Mystical Tutor, make a 3/3. So this deck is another, like, this is caught between 2 worlds. We have another Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde deck going on, because we have half of the things where, okay, I'm gonna Mystical Tutor for part of my combo line that is wholly unrelated to Sauron. Like, that's the thing that I'm most upset about, is like 50 cards in this deck do not give a fuck about Sauron. Even the like the Nazgul and the Lord of the Nazgul don't care about Sauron. They just happen to be from the Lord of the Rings set as well. I guess the Nazgul care about ring tempting, so that matters. But it even seems like the ring tempting is just a vehicle to get towards my Dockside Hullbreaker Horror infinite combat or infinite mana line, and then we go, oh, I'm gonna do a breach line. Okay, the primer talked about brain freeze, but we don't have a brain freeze. Like, I think that... Oh, this is so gross. I just want us to have... I want us to have a bit that we're committed to, and the only bit that we're committed to is... Boy howdy, does this deck have some good cards in it. And sometimes that's as deep as people's bits want to go. But that is, again, in the, like... Like, that's the gimmick of the deck. Is I spent, well, probably not, I proxied $3,000 worth of cards that I saw YouTube Shorts combo videos about. Ligma Boot, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse. This is like the Seto Kaiba pre-con. The curve is pretty, like, this is the thing that's, it's like they started building a competitive deck, and then just threw some kooky shit in, maybe thinking that it would bring the whole thing down, and instead they have two decks in one big trench coat, and one deck gives a shit about Sauron, which is the Witch King. You know, Witch King, all the ring tempting stuff. And then we have a deck that cares about... And then we just have a deck that cares about, I'm going to mystical tutor into ad nauseum, into... I don't really know the lines, to be frank, but I know that it's just loop into Thassa's Oracle. Iduna Lunara, thank you so much. I'm glad your boyfriend enjoys the content. I will do my best to keep him entertained. So I don't really think this is... I think you should pick which deck you actually want to have. And if it's a Grixis combo deck, Sauron probably isn't the best commander, although you still could do it. And if it's a Sauron deck, you gotta chop this thing in half and start from the beginning. Because this is, you're not trying to kill somebody with hammers, you're trying to beat them to death with a Birkin bag. It's despicable. I do believe that it's strong, right? Like, you can't, it's hard to start with Dockside, Psych Rift, Notion Thief, and not be strong. Assuming flash Notion Thief in, get at least one draw. But then it's also awkwardly slow because we didn't fully commit to the combo game plan, and we instead are like, I'm gonna do Roaming Throne. So now we can play this. I mean, I guess you pick Horror because maybe Horror can hit any other thing in the deck. Then you, we Dockside, Wheel. We get a ton of shit we can't use because March from the Black Gate is for a, like, more relaxed boots on ground thing. And then we just brick for a while. So we get to mill 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's going to trigger twice. And we have Ragavan in here too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we get Saruman back, and then it kind of works out like... Yeah, I think we... Once again, you got to pick your lane. You got to pick whether you want to have a gimmick or whether you just want it to be good. And if you just want it to be good, you have a ton of this, like, pseudo flavorful synergy stuff that doesn't contribute to your combo game plan. And if you want it to be flavorful, you have you have so many resources committed to, I'm going to get to this combo. Seek Christ. But I will not deny that it is strong and effective. You have made a strong and effective deck, for sure. We're going to move on to Tay Tay Slays. They have a spooky deck. Top deck manipulation with a reanimator sub-theme to blow up opponents with big instants and sorceries. Bomb 'em. Okay, Hitagetsu and Kairi. Let's see if they are doing the ineffective, or not ineffective, doing the dipshit infinite turns loops. So when they ETB, draw 3, so brainstorm, dies, exile top, and then we get to cast it. So we have 40 things we can hit. That's good. We only have a couple creatures, which is pretty reasonable. Most of these are copies, which is also reasonable. And also very notably, all the copies will sack to the legend rule, which is very important. No infinites, but we are on this extra turn junk. So let's see what the big mean shit you want to do is. You want to recur your own creatures, presumably your commander. More recursion. More recursion. So we're just burning out. This is just, I'm going to play with a fidget spinner, but as I spin it, you are going to fucking die. It does look like the only way we can win the game is by... I mean, for Hitagetsu and Kairi, this honestly makes sense. You are lacking a lot, I think, on top deck manipulation outside of... Oh, never mind. I just went straight past the artifact section. So we have Scroll Rack and we have Divining Top, which are the two most normal types. And then can we do anything? Not really. Oh, sorry. We had another mana rock. And I think we're good. So now it's draw 3. So we put 2 on top of our hand. Now can we kill him? Not really, or not this turn. So I think we want to put this on top and then this on top, and then we move to our next turn. Oh, sorry. I got the order wrong. Move to our next turn, draw that, play that, 1, 2, 3, and then now the order doesn't matter as much. We do land that. This dies. We flip this. We burn everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we return Glasspool Mimic. And on ETB, 1, 2, 3. And then we repeat this where where Glasspool Mimic dies. We return it. 1, 2, 3. And then we can put Deluge back, and then we just keep burning. Oh, I'm doing it backwards. Oh, that's very important. So let's run it back from the beginning. So we'll Mindstorm, or Mindstone. So turn 3, we can Gandalf. So we get 1, 2, 3. We'll put that on top as like insurance. We can't pay the kicker for this. So what did we left I left unsubstantiate on top. God, that sucks. Okay. So we write a replication. We'll kick it. We'll get the death trigger, which will flip Decree of Pain. Or flip Unsubstantiate. We'll bounce something. Draw 3. And put Myriad back, and then Hostile Negotiations. And then we'll Eaten Alive our own commander. Then we Hostile Negotiations. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This is to everybody, right? Target opponent. So woof. Cronus the Dragon King, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Yeah, I do stream. Today we're doing a lot of deck reviewing. I mean, this is gross. First and foremost, gross as hell. My biggest disagreement with it is for a Dimir deck. For a Dimir deck that is about spell slinging, we have like nothing dedicated to card draw. Or near nothing. We have Village Rites, and then we're hoping that all of our draw is going to come through being able to copy Hitagetsu and Kairi. And I think that being able to do that is exceedingly optimistic. It's exceedingly optimistic that people are going to let Hitagetsu and Kairi hang out. This is yet another commander that has a reputation for, if you let it begin to cook, it's going to cook you super fucking hard. Especially if you have any of the important synergy pieces out. And even with 38 lands, having the correct number of lands is not enough to prevent God from hating on you. God is going to hate on you no matter what. And to defeat God's hatred, you need card draw. And since you can manipulate your graveyard, I don't think there is any thesis to not have Frantic Search. I was considering taking out a few basics for the new Bolt lands. What are the new Bolt lands? Holy fuck. Yeah, for the MDFCs, yes. Yeah, I would say it's worth it to drop some basics for that. Garuda could be useful with the clone theme, but we don't. It's not a theme. We have 4 clones in the deck, so it is a strategy that we have, but we do not have enough of them, and we only have 12 creatures in the deck, so we're almost certainly not flipping a clone when we go to flip. I think that you have. I think the bounce is like. The bounce is cute. I understand what it's trying to do. Almost certainly you are better off drawing Frantic Search in place of every bounce spell. Pretty much. Same goes for your well, I'm not sure about same goes for Supernatural Stamina, but it might. Like, I think the plan of I'm going to sacrifice my own commander for value is always a really bad plan. Right, you're walking into the MMA fight and you're saying, I'm going to blow my own foot off with a shotgun to distract them, and then I'll be able to stab them in the chest with the shattered bones of my stump leg. That's what your deck is doing. And if you happen to have Not Dead After All, any of the scam stuff to bring them back, sure, it works great. If you ever don't have it, the scam stuff is pretty bad. And the stuff that wants to sacrifice your commander is also pretty bad. So you make the gimmick highly conditional. As Alarin said, you're in blue. You do have flicker stuff. You could even do something hilariously expensive like Conjurer's Closet. But you have a lot of tools that would work better than needing to draw Hidegetsu and Kairi, needing to draw Fake Your Own Death, and then needing to draw Village Rites when you don't have card draw for the most part. Lucas, the win con is just burn them with Hidegetsu and Kairi, which is also a little questionable. Flickering lets me get the ETB but not the death trigger. I would still recommend you're better off with card draw and clones, because the playtest that popped off was when we were just like looping the clones. And I think sacking Hidegetsu and Kairi is a worse plan than I'm going to make clones. Oh, Flicker does also, yeah, help you a little bit with your top deck. But that's what I would do. Is you have a very top heavy game plan, and if you have a top heavy game plan, you want to make sure it's very well supported, and you have too much cute shit going on. We're gonna move on to Shant's deck, which nope, we just did that. Move on to Salt Boy's deck, which is spooky, casual Aragorn the Uniter deck, my go-to deck for a good time at FNM. They claim that it's balanced. And before we even look at this deck list, the rat is looking directly at that rule because he knows it to be true. Yoshi.com, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Workers of the world unite. I looked on Aragorn and thought how great and terrible a lord he might have become had he taken the ring for himself. Not for naught does Mordor fear him. Okay, I'm going to put a million things on the board, and me and all my fellows are going to stab you in the fucking chest. Our lands are good. Got broad board buffs. Ooh, I love mana cannons. I love that you are trying to deal some actual damage. War Leader's Call, also real. Best Is It card ever printed. Tons of... lots of interaction. Fucking... my fair and balanced deck that has Psych Rift. My fair and balanced Aragorn deck that's gonna Psych Rift you. We're just gonna pretend that our colors are fixed. Okay, blue, white, red. So we get to scry 2. Most of those can go to bottom. Make a 1/1. Green, blue, scry 2. We'll keep that on top. Next turn, cultivate. Yeah, you know, I'd call this balanced. This is a hacky sack deck for sure. It wants to spend the first 5 turns of the game just kind of kicking a ball around, not doing anything serious. And then if you haven't responded, or if you haven't farewelled, you die. And as I've said, that is how Wizards of the Coast wants Commander to be right now. And this is farewell gaming to a T. Is we're gonna make all this shit. We're gonna cast our commander. And then I'm just gonna kind of generally accrue value. So I get a scry 2. I like both of these. Draw a card. No land in hand. So I guess I'll put her out first so that I can replay her. Scry 2. Because we want to get our boy Serac, but not yet. What's up, Diverlon? And then we just spend this turn ramping. And we'll 3 visits as well. And again, we're just going to pretend that the mana's totally fixed. Oh, we shuffled him away. So we scry 2. Oh, yeesh. This deck might be too balanced. This deck might be too many things that are just like kind of okay. So we're making 1/1s. Doing 3 damage to people. Let's look at this pip distribution. Curve is pretty relaxed. So we're doing white most of the time. Then green, then red. I don't know what the fuck Lotus Cobra is doing here. We have basically no landfall. We are just trying to... This seems like ramp, but bad. Selvala's also not really in here for any reason. Serac is just in here to stop the Counterspell Brigade, but then most of these cards just look like they're in here because they are Lord of the Rings. Ferris Rokirik is tremendous. Coiling Oracle seems a little weird. We have a lot of... Yeah, we have a lot of stuff that's in... it's death by synergy. We lack any sort of coherent plan to install hammers into somebody's chest. And instead we have a million things that work together. The win con is copium. Because I remember we saw another Aragorn deck that was like green Enchantress cantripping. And that deck had a plan to put bodies in the ground. This deck has a plan. This deck could have been a barbecue. I don't disagree that it's probably a good relaxed time at the FNM. We can just say, hey, do you want to come kick it? Do you want to come kick it for a couple hours? Maybe watch a movie, talk about things. You really haven't let me know what's going on with you recently. What's up with that? That's what this commander could be saying. Instead of being on turn 11, saying, okay, I'll scry 2 again, making my commander an 8/8. Oh, you have a chump blocker? That's okay, goat. I can't really do anything about that. Mana cannons gave me hope. But overall, the deck is a ton of stuff that just wants to accumulate for the sake of accumulation, and very few things that translate cleanly to damage on board. Like, this is a deck, goddamn if this ain't a deck that could use Triumph of the Hordes. I ain't never seen so many hordes that needed to triumph. Never seen so many hordes in my life that needed to triumph. And I would get rid of Lotus Cobra. I don't think that thing has any business being in here. I mean, it doesn't always have to be Craterhoof or Ibex. It could also be, since the most common thing we're doing is making 1/1s, it could be Shared Animosity. We have a ton of humans. We're making human tokens. And so we could go for broad board buffing with anthems rather than Craterhoof or Ibex, or anything else that can translate their presence on the board directly to damage. But we got to get something. Cause yeah, this is holy shit. Aren't all these cards so cool, guys? I know it's been 2 hours, but isn't this a fun time? We're having a good time together, cause we're the good time boys. We're gonna move on to Rukak's deck, which is spooky and scary. I was building dredge, but only managed to snag 2 Lion's Eye Diamonds, so I hard pivoted. The deck wants a turn 1 mana bond to toss dredgers in the graveyard with life from the loam. We get a free Lion's Eye Diamond trigger every turn, but better because the lands are permanent. With Golgari Grave Troll, we draw 6 since we have loam, and every card isn't a land has some recursion minus Sterling Grove, of course. Ghost Quarter and Wasteland can be recurred over and over to soft lock our opponents out of lands, and Raven's Crime can rip our opponent's cards from their hands. All of this is buying time for the Dark Depths Thespian Stage combo to go off and finish the game. Okay. So this is probably non-commander format based on that primer. Dredge Ramp Ponza. Yeah, it's Legacy. I love Legacy. Ilaran, you're next. So we want 36 fucking lands is a lot. So we want to turn 1. I mean, I'm just gonna play test. Okay, so we have Mana Bond. We don't have a fucking green land though. I mean, how hard is it to get a? All right, so City of Brass Mana Bond. We put Reflecting Pool down. Everything else gets discarded. So we dredge 3. We got Dark Depths. Take 2 more. We return these 3. Pop these out. Next turn, we mill 3. Then we do the same thing. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can get Golgari Grave Troll. Oh, and we could be wastelanding. Yeah, we could be wastelanding. So we can play Grave Troll. But I don't think we have many creatures. We have 1. We have 2 creatures. Yeah, Rukak, I was gonna say, like, the greatest weakness of this deck is anybody playing Legacy against you. So we have to mull this. So we're mulling to 6. We basically have to mull this because we can't activate our Mana Bond or any of our stuff. So we're going to 5. Oh, and then we'd put back, I guess, Sterling Grove, and I'm going to put back... Oh, we have Dark Depths and Thespian Stage, which sucks. So we can put these out, but we can't copy it because we weren't able to keep our whole hand. But now we can make Merit Lage. And then we have a 2020 indestructible flyer. But it's legacy, so if anybody, let's say they swordsed us. We re-Thespian stage, we re-Merit Lage, and then we presumably win. And then we could dump and start dredging. Okay, so I understand the vision. And this one worked correctly. Oh, Stage and Devs both die to make the token. So we put these out. Discard this. And then we definitely blew up a land. We'd play this and then hang out, presumably blow up another land. Then we Merit Lage. And then we hope we can win with Merit Lage. We discard this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sure. Grave Troll's in hand. Discard Grave Troll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we probably start dredging for life from the loam, and we try to repeat the Dark Depths Merit Lage thing. I mean, the real problem is you have a massively fragile combo and nothing to interrupt anybody else's shit. A lot of the effective things you can do in Legacy is you want to be like, you don't want to be all in on interaction unless you're playing a very hard control deck. But for the most part, you are in a track meet and you want to be running at 90% speed, and 10% of your brain's processing power is committed to the gun in your left hand that you're going to point at your opponent's kneecaps anytime they start running too fast. This deck is all in pretty much on running its own game plan because it's trying to run the race on pogo sticks. And it's much more difficult to do wacky shit when you're doing it in a format that is like purely competitive, that doesn't have this like a casual fun time, good time boys scene behind it. And so I think this, gosh. I'm not sure how to make this better. I'll be honest with you. It's very like... I will say I don't think Raven's Crime helps you. I don't think making them discard one card is enough to protect your game plan, because your game plan is done as soon as they have any interaction. I mean, this hand will probably keep just because we have Depths and Thespian stage. Oh no, but we can't even. So this would be like turn 4, Merit Lage, and Legacy we're already dead. I'm aware it's repeatable, but to make it repeatable, you need to have... It's only repeatable however many times you have lands in your hand, which if you get Life from the Loam going is fine. But so many things have to go right. And in Legacy, you have a very small window for this many things to go right. So I think we can make Merit Lage. Yeah, we could make Merit Lage. And then we just have to pray that the Marriage Lage works. I think crop rotation might be better than creeping chill. I think that creeping chill is like if we win, if this deck wins the game, it's winning the game because you got to keep a Merit Lage. And I don't think 12 damage from creeping chill is useful enough unless you're keeping it just for the life gain. And if you're keeping it for the life gain, I feel like there's gotta be something more effective that you could do. Worm Harvest is bad and slow. It's like a one-off. I understand it. I would definitely say crop rotation. I think crop rotation is the clearest card that could come in, and a lot of times you have a land that doesn't do the thing you need your land to do in that moment. And a huge part of this deck is, can I get Wastelands down and prevent them from playing Magic the Gathering? But you can't Blood Moon because you're using non-basic lands. So yeah, I don't know how to fix it. This is funny. This would be very funny to hit somebody with, and I do like that you have created it. I agree that it's on the edge of like spooky to scary. I think Creeping Chill is the place you can find improvements. Why not play the new dude that removes counters? Yeah, you could play that instead of Creeping Chill, and it would probably be better. The new counter remover for Modern Horizons 3. Alright, we're going to move to Ilaren's scary deck, which is the overall goal here was to make as mean an Aristocrats deck as I could. Not sure if I've succeeded. Let me know how I could make it meaner. The deck in one word is salt. This is the good stuff. I'm going to get some coffee. This is the good stuff, Ilaren. The worst shit we can make, people. That's what I'm talking about. Don't sell my stuff. God damn it. I told you guys to not sell my things. We talked about this shit. Okay. Okay, meanest possible thing we can do with aristocrats. Let's see how well you did. You're tearing me apart, Lisa. Okay. So you try to do Grave Pact effects. And then just hold the board down, but then they get you first. This card draw is fundamentally insane. Everything but Sensei's Divining Top is like an MC Escher painting of what card draw actually looks like. Oh, German Gary Oak, what is up, goat? How you been, man? I think combos are too nice here because they give release. Okay. None of those cards even give card advantage. Listen, man, we gotta work piecewise. We gotta work piecewise. So Ancient Cravings does. Gristlebrand, Mark of Gristlebrand does for a lot of work. Because you gotta get it equipped to something with reasonable power and then sacrifice that thing. We have 35 with MDFCs, I believe. Okay, Archfiend of Depravity. Fully not good enough for salt control. Because the only people that care about this shit are the token players, and you can handle the token players with Toxic Deluge. Everybody else is just like, oh, whatever, two most important creatures, I just won't play my other creatures. Who cares? Archon of Cruelty. Archon of Cruelty I'm not as convinced on because Liesa is not cheating your taxes, it's just getting you back to the hand. And so if you have 8 mana, your play every turn is I'm going to get 1 card and 3 life, and my opponent is going to lose a card and lose 3 life, that is not very compelling. This would be compelling. This can still be compelling, but is currently the one of the best things we can play. It's not super great. So we have some reanimation. Yeah, so I would say get some actual... You need some real good board wipes. And you do not have the lands or card draw to support these really expensive cards. So I think if you want to make mean aristocrats, you probably want to make stacksocrats. Like, the way you want to do control is you want more things that are salty for the same reason Grave Pact effects are salty. And right now, Liesa is drawing a huge amount of aggression because your deck is based around, I'm going to kill one of my things. It's going to give me a benefit, and then Liesa is going to get it back for me. I would like to instead put you on, I'm going to play creatures that everybody else says, holy shit, we need to get rid of that. And then they have to make a choice between getting rid of that and getting rid of Liesa. It's time to speak to Draniel, the magistrate of Go Fuck Yourselfville. So we need to find all of the you need to find a bunch of 2 and 3 drops that typically make people say, "Oh, I need to use targeted removal to get rid of this." And then you force them to make the difficult choice of, am I going to use it to get rid of that, or am I going to, or that only puts it off for a turn. I need to get rid of Liesa instead. And if they get rid of Liesa instead, what ends up happening is you keep the stacks effect. So I am not as clued into the deep magic as I should be. German Gary Oak, very good at building decks, and so he's actually ahead of the curve on me, but the deck needs to be able to play magic without her because she's very expensive in Orzhov. And to play magic without her, we can still do Orzhov stacks. And so we can get some real basic shit like Archon of Emeria. We can get Hushbringer. We can get Obedience for Extort. Get Grand Abolish. You know, all these guys. Camball is also pretty good. Spirit of the Labyrinth. All of these things that make people say, "Oh, I need to shoot that guy." And then if they try to shoot them, Liesa will be there to bring them back. Hammer10, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the Doghouse. Now, as to how you win out from under that stacks, that is really up to you. The old reliables are Orcish Bowmasters and Sheoldred. I think you could still keep, if you want this to be a really powerful deck, you can keep the Grave Pact stuff, and you probably want at least one good loop to sacrifice a number of things really quickly. You probably want Warren Soul Trader. You probably want Warren Soul Trader as another good sack outlet. And then you dump the stuff like Aaron, you dump Flesh Taker, you probably dump Hidden Stockpile. You can keep the Plague Crafter effects. Hammer 10, I've been streaming on Twitch for even longer, but I'm glad to hear that you have been a relative day one. Yeah, I don't even think you need Teysa, to be honest. Yeah, actually hitting your Grave Pacts in a deck without access to green is tough because they're expensive. We also need to clean up the card draw quite a bit, depending on how just how strong you want the deck to be. Easy shit is like I mean, this is bad card draw, but it's better than nothing. And you can also get some gimmick-specific stuff, like Grim Haruspects. Deadly Dispute is good, because you're fine with your creatures dying. It's a repeatable sacrifice body with a decent ETB, yeah. You could do trouble in pairs for sure. But this deck needs a makeover, because right now it is, you had this like, holy fuck this curve. Not the cheese wheel, Alarin. Not the goddamn Parmigiano Reggiano deck. Me when I make a fucking trapezoid. Yeah, I think you need fewer. You need to disentangle the deck from being so dependent on Liesa being there to get your shit back, and you need more shit that people are going to want to waste. You need removal bait so that when you play Liesa, she has a chance to stick around. And then you need to get some like basic decent card draw like Deadly Dispute, Sign in Blood, yada yada yada. Yeah, then Grim Haruspects. I'm not sure if you need Pitiless Plunderer. It might be a little expensive. Oh, we have Grim. Morbid Opportunist. Yeah, that's the other one. And then if you go Staxy, you might be able to slide Welcoming Vampire. It's unlikely, but it is possible that you will have enough low power stacks pieces that Welcoming Vampire will work as well. Prince of Foxes, thank you for the tier 1 Twitch sub. 6 months in a row, my friend. Welcome back to the dog home. But that's how I would run this makeover. We're going to move on to Jarthur's deck. Hello everyone, I'm probably asleep. There are an overabundance of tags to compensate. The goal is to just mill everyone out. There is some recursion to account for self-milling to make the commander able to attack and block. Oh, so it's the ancient one. You'll easily find the Dimir combo that has nothing to do with the above behind helping put the deck in scary more often than spooky. Gotcha. Descend till you awaken an ancient god. So, targeted mill. Holy fuck this instance list. Oh god. The brain, we have given into the brain worm. Glimpse the unthinkable. Phoenix. Startled awake. I don't like your hands. Oh, your lands. Got it. I mean, I fucking hate lands too. Forgot she was a praetor. This is just mean black card. Okay, 32 lands, but our commander's 2. And then we have demonic consultation. This is like, I made a deck and it doesn't work, but we're in blue-black, so here's demonic consultation and Thassa's Oracle. I made a deck, it super fucking doesn't work, but we can play Thoracle Consultation, and so we're gonna play Thoracle Consultation. Generic good, extra black mana. Generically good blue. At least somebody played Opt. Jesus. Slightly unrealistic, colorless infinite mill. I mean, that's possible with enough card draw. Things I want to discard. Yeah. Oak, I'm agreed with you. I think I mean, this seems like a deck that started with a premise of I'm going to do a mill deck, and then as they played it, they thought, wow, this is really bad. I should put in some pretty good stuff to help with this. And they put in all the tutors. And then they said, wow, this is really bad. I should put in an infinite. And they put in this infinite tangentially related to the mill strategy they were going for. And then they said, wow, this is really bad. I'm just going to put in an infinite in my colors so that I can win the game sometimes. Maybe mana ramp, probably just BS artifact. Jesus Christ, mana vault, mana crypt, soul. All right. I'm going to be on for probably like 30 more. We have this deck and another deck to do, and that's how long I'm going to be on for. So probably like 20 to 30 minutes. I mean, I think that like so first and foremost, so these are the these are the comprehensive rules around how you need to build your mill decks. Milling people out in Commander is tough. Milling people out in Commander is a really hard time because people have too many fucking cards. Much easier is milling yourself and then winning because you have milled yourself out. And plenty other commanders in the grave, plenty of other commanders want to do things with their graveyard, so they want to have, you're helping them. You are filling their second hand. You are filling their Amazon shopping cart when you play shit like this. And so if you're gonna do mill, your commander should mill much more aggressively. This is not a curve that is going to quickly mill other people out. This is a curve that is more likely than not you're going to mill somebody for 4 and it's not going to mean anything. And so if we just look at themes of what the stated, the stated gimmick being mill. German Gary Oak, I would love that sometimes. Probably not today, since I'm going to be hopping off. But yes, definitely. Like, there's honestly, Mirko Vosk just does... You could keep the 1-to-1 same deck. Mirko Vosk does a better job as the commander. Tasha the Witch Queen does a better job as your commander. And so now if you want an Ancient One deck, you should just mill yourself. And then you should do stuff with your own graveyard. Like, we are too fuck this thing, first of all. I like that you have reanimation sources. I don't think you need stuff back to hand. I think since you're in Dimir and you can't ramp, you want to be cheating things back out into play. Oh yeah, and you want Sir Conrad. You want Sir Conrad so that bodies hit the fucking floor. People gotta die. life totals got to get reduced. Yeah, ancient one into reanimate stuff is great. We have Rise of the Dark Realms. If I got you once, this will finish it. Like, yeah, this is all. We have plenty of generically good mill cards, and then we have a lot of things that don't really help the ancient one's plan. We also super duper want, you need, as German Gary Oak said, you need repeatable, symmetrical mill. Making one person mill for 10 is like trying to kill somebody with a dull spork. You are going to be scooping at their eyeballs for 3 days before anything happens. Delve is good. Stealing is good. I love stealing. I love taking things. Oh yeah, and the Sphinx that collects evidence. I don't remember that bitch's name. The Sphinx that collects evidence from the detective set with the fedoras. Oh, and then Psychic Corrosion would be good, yeah. This would actually matter with Ancient One, because Ancient One can let you draw additional cards. But like Tasha the Witch Queen would be good. You just don't have enough. There's not a clear enough thesis here for why everything works together. And a lot of your things are targeted when they should be board wide. And we have, like, you know, we have these weird things that people would traditionally think of as comp level pieces that seem like they're only in the deck because it wasn't working as intended. And it wasn't working as intended because we're trying to force square pegs into round holes. But we can fix that. Oh yeah, the blue court. Court of Cunning. That would be sick. So again, pick your lane. If you want to be mill, Ancient One probably shouldn't be the commander. If you want to be Ancient One, we need to play around Ancient One a little bit more, and you need to have stuff that benefits from you discarding and takes advantage of your full graveyard and stops worrying about other people milling. We're going to move on to a Hobo 8 Gems deck, a silly one. I once saw a deck with no lands and thought to myself, could I do that in Commander? The answer was yes. What the fuck? Aggressive mulligan and never playing it against the same person twice are the keys to winning, and praying there's no board wipes. The deck in one word is why. Landless, dredge, and Commander. We don't need no stinking lands. Oh, Charbelcher? How the fuck are we paying with for Dance with Calamity? Okay, so haste. So we're making treasures. There's got to be tags, right? They have to explain this shit. There's no tags. The only person they're gonna explain things to is God. Are they playing MDFCs? I mean, they can't be. German Gary Oak, you do not know my fan base. You do not know the commitment of these people. Couldn't figure out how to tag this deck. Okay. So we have Paradise Mantle. Okay, so we have, yeah, so we have Cheerio Mana Rocks, and we have Paradise Mantle to turn our creatures into mana advantage. And then we do have Dorks. Mulligan aggressively was what I was told. So this is our free one. Go down to 6. Can we work from... I don't think we can work from here. Roll to 5. We can mana crypt. I think we Lotus Bloom and play Possum. Move to bottom. I hope you don't have interaction. Boom, Lotus Bloom. Turn 2. So turn 4, this would come in. We mana crypt, so we can add colored mana. So we can play Ognis. Not a shapeshifter. We can make a treasure if we swing Ognis turn 4. But this is gone now. Next turn. At least somebody's playing Faithless Looting. At least fucking somebody's playing Faithless Looting. I guess we can't Treasonous Ogre. Elves. Holy fuck, this is so bad. This is so bad. Okay, we have Lion's Eye Diamond. We're so back. Can I... So if I LED, can I put Bloom Tender on the stack and then pay for it with LED, or will that discard? I know there's like weird, I know there's a bunch of fuck shit you can do with LED, but can I? No, god damn it. Okay. So no cooking. We'll cycle this. Next turn. Christ above. Christ above. Okay, Mox Tantalite. That's 1 mana of any color, so we're suspending that shit immediately. We'll crack this. We'll draw an extra card. Fuck Dread Return. Turn 3. Fuck this guy. 4. Birds with the Mox Tantalite. Ornithopter. Mana Crypt. Wombo combo. Potential. Hey man, have you ever heard the quote that in glorious pursuits it is great even to fail? If you haven't, I'm telling you now, because you did fail. This is some of the funniest shit I have ever seen, and it is uniquely terrible. XGC Malevolence, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the Doghouse. I love that you made something where it's even possible for it to function with 0 lands. Oh fuck, Chancellor Trigger, Elvish Mystic, all the haters shut up. All the haters, you're so cooked. We can only add green. Carpet of Flowers. We'll say there's 1 blue player. Turn 4. Tap this guy. Add a mana. Add a mana. So that's 3 mana. Okay, so we gotta blow this anyway. We get Blood Pet out too. Oh no, it has to be 1 color. Fuck. Okay, but potential. I mean, the thing is, you could have made this work so much if we were more comfortable with artifact creatures, because you've committed to so many pips for a motherfucker that can't make mana. I've never seen the blank production bars. Like, truly, if you... This is like playing with 3 people and the little brother has a controller that isn't connected. No, this is the opposite. This is like your uncle who's gonna beat you at pool playing with his fucking feet. Like, this is some Escanor Sin of Pride shit, where you said it would be unfair if I was allowed to participate in the basic rules of Magic the Gathering. Therefore, I must play like you said, I'm gonna play a deck with no lands, and then you didn't even make a no land deck. You made a pretty fucking normal deck with mana dorks and said, I'll get there. What's Craterhoof doing there? We gotta win games, baby. We're winning games is what this deck is doing. I'm going to spend 5 turns hoping to God I get to play Blood Pet, and then I'm going to hoof you square in the cooter. How do you get there? Obviously, you resolve Cryptolith right, bro. Obviously, we resolve Cryptolith right. No, Hobo, I stand with you and not with the haters. This is fucking hilarious and so bad, and you need to cut half of these creatures for mirrors. You cut half. This is the only deck that deserves to run Golos. You change nothing else about this deck. You get Golos at the helm. Fair deck, baby. You deserve it. You've fought your wars. You've done your waiting. Yeah, not even a board wipe. Not even a board wipe. Not even removal. This deck folds to anybody else playing Magic. Alright, we got the Mox. We got the Soul Talisman. Turn 2. Discard to hand size. Turn 3. Incredibly optimistic Ragavan. It's time, baby. Mana Vault into nothing. Fuck me. Mishra's Bauble. Draw 2. Potential. Goblin Charbelcher. We can't untap our Mana Vault now that we've played Goblin Charbelcher. Aether Vial. Potential. It's turn 9. They haven't won yet. Deathrite Shaman goes out. We exile a land. We tap Soul Talisman. We Goblin Charbelcher. Somebody's dead. We made it. We fucking made it. You're not trolling me. You are trolling God. So we can add 1 red. Oh, and we have 1 red and 1 green. So 1 red, 1 green. So 1 red, 1 green, 3 red. Spend 2 of it. Let me cook. Lotus Petal. Crack it for green. Cryptolith right. Now we've vomited our entire hand. And we now have an Elvish Mystic. We now have Sensei's Divining Top. Okay, we're gonna put Chrome Mox on top and proceed to our next turn. Non-artifact, non-land. I guess I will shut my dumb ass up. Gary, I just saw the line. Oh, it entombs. It doesn't even put it to field. Oh my fucking god. This deck is ass! This deck is so fucking bad. I love it. Okay, God bless you. I was gonna say you should be running Flare of Cultivation for the 0-cost commander, but you can't. There's no lands to get. Now, I will be honest. This is what most of y'all's decks look like to me. With your greedy ass land bases and your lack of card draw, this deck is the missing link in human evolution, and it is closer to many of you than it is further. The copium that this deck needs to be huffing to participate in Magic the Gathering is, some of you don't know it, but you go to bed every night praying at the altar of Vrelion. If Sensei's Divining Top exists, it implies the existence of Student's Infernal Bottom. Yeah, different website though. Alright, that's going to be it for today. We will be back Monday with some arena drafting, and then I'm going out of the country. Going to Amsterdam for MagicCon Amsterdam. Thank you all for watching, for following, for subscribing. I appreciate all of the support. Oh, wait, we have a personal question from Mr. E. Hold on. What was it, Mr. E? What's up? Oh, what is a good finishing piece for the new 5-color Eldrazi deck? It depends on which commander you're using. Triumph of the Hordes could work if you are doing Eldrazi big mana. Like if you're ever doing a big mana deck, I would say Crackle with Power ain't bad. I don't know about Eldrazi specific though, so I'll have to look into that and get back to you. But in terms of big mana win con, Crackle with Power good. Most of your Eldrazi should be finishing pieces, and so just play the Eldrazi. German Gary Oak, yes please, let's get a game in. Yeah, Craterhoof would do it. Triumph of the Hordes would do it. Ton of stuff. Alright, so thank you all. Goodbye. Remember to stay toxic.